What's up, everybody? It's your girl vibing with Ned, and I'm back again with the part two to the reaction video, Sonya Massey's autopsy. Let's get straight out back off into it, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that post notice so when I upload, you know that I've done so. Let's get into it. This definitely will humble you guys. You know what I'm saying? As I said, you know, I I'm glad that I'm registered. You know, my hospital, everything is in this whole little box. They have my information. They know I have congestive heart failure. They know um that I have uh rheumatoid osteoarthritis. They know that I have Graves' disease. They know all these things. You know, a lot of my problems stem from my initial disability when I was 6 months old. So of course, people saying, well, this will never happen. Yeah, it could, because I do suffer from depression, anxiety, and what if I'm fidgety and I'm nervous and I can't explain myself, and what if? You know what I'm saying? Like, will I get the same type of people? I ask myself, I wonder that all the time. But comment down below if y'all feel like I feel.
The first family member to arrive at the scene, and I mean, obviously the emotion of seeing your sister, blood everywhere, and how she tried to clean the blood up. So
Yeah, I just couldn't imagine. And I know this hurt that sister. This hurt that sister. I have a sister. This is what I be telling her all the time. Let's stop arguing. The enemy is outside, not us, not each other. So the fact that her sister got there first, my mind races to feel like, yo, if I'm not here and I'm out of body and my spirit still in the house, I know she gonna feel some type of way. And then having to clean her own sister blood up, it's upsetting and it's hurt. What that man did, he executed her. Let's get back off into it.
Malachi and Summer, her children, wouldn't have to see their mother's blood when they came in the house to get their clothes. Um, so Shadia Massey was trying to speak to you from the heart.
Hello. Sonya meant the world to me. I loved her so much. This tragedy has been too much on my family. Her kids, her daughter cannot sleep at night, y'all. She's in one household, I'm in another household. For her to go to the bathroom, she has to be on FaceTime with me. For her to get a drink of water, she has to call us before she get out her bed. This is the hardest thing that we have ever been through as a Massey. It just breaks my heart that our family has to go through this.
No, you're fine. Justice for Sonya Massey.
It's all right, baby. It's all right. We right here with you. We right here with you.
Don't just take classes, take charge. Start your comeback today at purdueglobal.edu.
are in mortal danger.
Oh, you did not just snap a selfie.
I know exactly how much time I have.
I didn't realize this was gonna make me feel some type of way, guys. I feel some because I put myself in my sister's shoes. She was the woman was looking for her papers. They probably could have told what was going on with her. And to know that her babies had to go in the house and get the clothes where their mama had just been taken away from them. It breaks my heart. I have a 25-year-old. A 25-year-old, guys. But she is my only daughter. Only daughter. And I know that the kids hurt. Her daughter hurt. She ain't even as old as my daughter. But the fact of the matter is, this man was able to run from police station to police station, knowing that he had prior confrontations with people. These people were scared to come forward, guys. We gotta stop. We gotta listen. Go vote. I think we all need to do our part. Maybe I need to start making more suggestions like I did. Because if she was looking for papers, had she had a necklace or a wristband that stated she had some type of health problem, a mental problem, maybe this would have never happened. But we gotta train these men and these women. How many things go unanswered? How many? How many of these senseless murders, killings against us? How many go unanswered? Here lately, they just started to get people to, be indicted on charges for killing us. But what is it teaching us? Comment down below.
And finally, you'll hear from Malachi, who was the first one notified that his mother had been killed. And just as he explained to us what they told him, you see, was defined as an autopsy. So, Malachi, if you would share what's on your heart.
Okay. Well, you know that they told me that my mom, she got shot in her eye and it came out her neck or whatever. And I don't know, I haven't been able to sleep for real. The only time I really feel comfortable sleeping is when I'm just on the floor. I can't even sleep in my bed. I don't know, this is just, I really don't have words. Like I've been said, I don't have words for real for this. But the first night I don't go to my mother's house, this happens. How? Why? And I wonder if I was there, if he would have did anything to me. I don't know. For real. That's all I can say. She lives with her father. I live with my father now.
And I will say this, up until just a few weeks, Malachi and Summer were staying with their mother. She was having mental illnesses, and they made the decision it was best that they stay with their father while she seeks help. And but both of them were going every day to check on their mother, be with their mother. And the first time I talked to Malachi, he was so distraught because he said, because I was working, this was the first day I didn't get to her, and this happens. And then the only other thing, Malachi, you may want to tell them is you think law enforcement came there earlier that day.
Okay, it was an incident that happened earlier that day, and I talked to 2 officers or whatever, and I believe that it's the same officer that shot my mother. I talked to his partner first, then the second officer, that's the one that I think the one that did that. I talked to them, and they told me that because she was driving herself to the hospital or something. She wasn't even at the house when this was going on, but she was driving herself to the hospital. They told me that they were going to go there to help her, and then this happens.
Okay. So she was seeking help because she was trying to get help, and it's like Mr. Wilburn said.
Did I not say she was looking for those papers? She was looking for her papers to tell them that, and then now coming to find out they had already previously seen the woman. Y'all see why I'm so upset? They knew. They knew, and they played in these people's faces. You said you were trying to get her help. How? What happened? What happened? What happened? That's my question. What happened to the help that the officers are supposed to be rendering, pushing her forward to go and do this? Y'all, I can't be like Malachi. I can't be like her son. I have all the words. And I think I just said, I think I just said the answer. Maybe it takes somebody with a physical disability to understand and to fight for things for not just physically disabled people, but mentally disabled people. There should have been something, a necklace, a card, or not even a card. Let me go back. A necklace, a wristwatch, um, something electronic, you know, to put around her to say, okay, or hang it from her wrist or something, a bracelet, a watch, a necklace, you know, an earring. It could be something, just something, just to say, hey, this is a person with a mental disability. I think I may have to go into I may have to go and look out into doing something like that to help my people that are like me, because this could have been a young man his age, autistic, and I heard everybody talk about mentally and physically disabled people. We human beings too. That's why you hear me crying, because this, even though she was her age, I could have been, I'm 49. This could have been me. But see, now I feel like, why do that when I call my brother first? My sister's a state. She works for the state for mentally disabled people. My brother, like I said, U.S. Constable, U.S. retired both as a U.S. Marshal and a U.S. Constable. So I know who to call. Because I know he kept his badge. He retired his badge. So I think that's like a souvenir considered or something like that. But he still have his badge number. He will always be a retired police officer, constable, U.S. Marshal. He will always be there. He's a master sergeant, retired master sergeant, Jimmy Strickland, U.S. constable, U.S. Marshal, retired. All three retired. Let's get back into it.
She was trying to get help. She needed a helping hand, not a bullet to the face.
That's right.
She just needed those officers to extend an ounce of humanity, not to kill her. And like we said, mental illness is real. You all may have family members who are struggling with their mental health.
I do. I have people. Even with myself, depression, anxiety. Sometimes you know, I go off into these things where I just don't want to be bothered. You know, I've had mental breakdowns. My sister has had a mental breakdown. That's because our mother had passed. Me because it was just the stresses of life and not being able to see my mama and have my mama hold my back and things like that. But I've learned to cope with things because I know that an idle mind is a devil's workshop. Come now, did I just not say that? An idle mind is a devil's workshop. So I try to keep myself doing something. I'm constantly doing something. I'm constantly, you know, teaching. I'm learning the Bible even now. I wasn't even proficient in the Bible, and I'm still not, but I'm still, you know. I told y'all I got something coming for y'all real soon. Not with the spiritual stuff, but in the same realm, but not quite. But when I do, y'all gonna know. Y'all gonna see. But this right here, this is a lot. The sister made me break down because I'm thinking about my sister. I think about my sister when she's out here and she has to deal with the mental illness her people. I think about her all the time when she go into the people's house. See, she's a caseworker. She knows how to deal with these things. She knows how to de-escalate a person that has a mental disability. They get on the phone. They follow protocol. She's a supervisor. She works for the state. She knows what to do. Get on the phone. Call these people. They have to do. It's a certain number they use when they not right. So yeah,
They deserve compassion and consideration, not excessive, unjustified force like we saw in that video. So we continue to try to say that Sonya Massey, life matters. She did, man, when you hear Malachi talk about what kind of mother she was, how she worked overtime to help him get a car and everything so he can get a job, how she talked to him about balancing budgets and about the Bible and about trying to work and be responsible. I mean, she was doing her best to be a person who helped people in the world, especially her children. She did not deserve this. She did not deserve this. So, Malachi, if you got anything else you want to say? Okay. Thank you so much, Malachi. We will try to take some of your questions if you have any.
So, I'm sorry, the Malachi was describing earlier on July 5th that there was a response that the same officers?
That he said he believes it was the same officers. That's why he believes they knew she had was struggling with her mental health.
And she had driven herself to the hospital for treatment?
She had sought consultation, yes.
She had not been in an inpatient program, but she was under a doctor's care?
Yeah, well, Mr. Wilborn said it, remember at the other press house, she was trying to get consultation because she was struggling with her mental health.
So,
yes, sir.
Malachi believes that the officers went to his mom's house earlier
That day.
The day before, July 5th. Right?
July 5th.
Yes, July 5th.
July 5th. And do we know why they went to the house?
No, some incident happened. She was on her way to the hospital when she was talking to Malachi. But you talked to the officers too. Yeah.
I talked to them and I was letting them know what was going on. I really don't know what happened before I got there, but I just know that I talked to them and let them know what's wrong with my mother.
So you talked to one of the officers by phone?
No, in person, face to face. Yes, they was at my house.
You were at the house at
yeah.
the same time visiting your mom?
And she drove herself to the hospital because I don't know why she did, but she drove herself to the hospital. When I got there, it was just the police there. Because my mother called me before all of this happened, and she told me the police was there. And when I got to her house, she wasn't there. She was calling me, telling me that she's driving herself to the hospital, and they were outside of the house.
So you don't know who called 911 or called her?
So she drove herself to the hospital after the encounter with the police, right, that day?
And you told them about her struggle with mental health.
Yeah, and I just tried to, the whole week, before all of this happened, I've been trying to get her in a mental health. We actually did get her in a mental health place in St. Louis, but they let her come back. I don't know why, though. Why would they let her come back so soon? I don't know.
Thank you, Malachi.
Praying for you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
You had referenced two separate people that had use of force complaints.
Let me say this, y'all. Let me just say this. Them people knew. Them officers knew her. Think about it, y'all. It's been going around that they killed the same police people. The station. Her little cousin had just gotten killed days before, weeks before. So they knew who Sonya Massey was. Y'all, black folk, they knew who she was. They didn't care. They didn't care about that woman because had that occurred, they would have did the right thing by her. They didn't care.
Were never officially filed. Were those?
I think they were filed. They had no determination, is what we've been told.
But they were filed. And just, I guess, my question, were both of those for Sangamon County specifically, or were those at previous law enforcement jobs?
We think it was a previous law enforcement job. One of them was an African-American citizen. We don't know the other one, but we know that the allegations is that they reported them. They have contacted our office. One of them did tell us he was a black man and told us it's the same guy, and that he, they end up charging him and stuff. And he thinks they did that intentionally. And so apparently it's in his record that there were allegations made, but unsubstantiated. So we continue to try to get to the crux of that. The other individual called the office said that, they made a allegation, but nothing happened. And they didn't want to go further. They just prayed for the family and said, we had a run-in with him too.
So these were proactive calls from the people to you, not official, okay.
Yeah, proactive calls.
What does DOJ told you? You told us the other day that they had opened an investigation. They say we're monitoring, assessing, and following the criminal.
So he's saying that black people, black men, and maybe another one, came forward, said that this man, Sean, whatever his name is, did the same thing to them. Wow. Huh. Mm.
Right. And subsequent to that, we have been told to try to send a formal inquiry about these other allegations so they can look at who those citizens were and if there was a common connection of the excessive force and on who did he inflict excessive force allegedly on.
Okay, so you're familiar with this process.
Yeah.
They haven't said an investigation here, but they are assessing what you're
right. So that apparently they've opened a file and they have come short of calling it an investigation. And they told us they would notify us that they're trying to get information just like we're trying to get information, and that they're working with the local officials to get information.
There obviously plenty of questions about the incident with police arriving to her home earlier in the day. If all of that, who was at the house deputy aside, if there were multiple visits to her home in that day, what does that tell you about the way that she was received when those deputies showed up at the scene later, and the temperament and the way she was treated when they got to there?
Well, it's going to be interesting, and I'm sure we can find out who went on the call earlier. Was it the same officers or not? And then did they have body camera video on then, and so forth? And can we find that out? We're just trying to get to the truth of what happened, man, because what happened on that video was not right. It was senseless and it was unjustified. And so we want to know everything that led up to her being shot in the face while she said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus."
I guess just to go off that, there were already critiques of the way they were handling, treating her, talking to her at the home before any of this happened. The way she was going through something and they were short, they were talking slowly to her, and I guess just if there was already that history of knowing she kind of had that, does that just expound on those problems for you?
Exactly. If you knew it was a person dealing with mental issues, then why in the world would you ever feel the need to do that to her? She has no history. She never been arrested. The autopsy, there were no drugs in her system other than the medication that we know about. She was just a mother trying to be a mother to her children. She did the right thing. She had them go live with their fathers and so forth while she was trying to get mental health. She was trying to do everything right. It was, these officers, namely, Grayson, who didn't respect her enough to try to say she's having mental issues and we need to try to be compassionate, not heavy-handed.
It was reported with the Kincaid Police Department in their records it showed misconduct, serious offense. Do we know with Logan County and Sangamon County, did they also read misconduct, serious offense when going through his application?
I would assume so if they were being prudent. You know, you don't just house somebody willy-nilly and you're going to give them a gun and a badge and say you get to go interact with the public. That's what Mr. Wilborn keeps saying. Why did he even have a job as a sheriff's deputy after those red flags?
And the question that I also have is, you know, these police departments or sheriff departments, will there be documents that you request or we've seen where they tracked, yes, we went to Sonya Massey's house at this time, like before that July 6th encounter early in the morning?
You know, we don't know, but we believe that when they go to somebody's house, there should be some report of it. And so that's why we're hoping, as I told Malachi, we will know were these the same officers who came to the house or not when he got there trying to check on his mother. Yes, sir.
Can you or a family member talk about what they were trying to do specifically to get Miss Massey mental health aid and the St. Louis situation with her being down there? When is the time frame for that statement?
And Mr. Wilburn and Brianna here, I think they were the ones who were trying to help her with that, her sister Brianna. And you, okay. Do you know how long she was supposed to stay in St. Louis? Or?
It was supposed to be 30 days, but then she got out after 2.
30 days, but they released her after 2. Is what she said.
Was that it? Sorry, John. Was that a voluntary?
Yeah, it was a
voluntary.
Yeah.
They made it, and Malachi talked to Mr. Jones and I. The reason his sister and he were not staying at his mother's house anymore was because she was going to be at the mental health facility in St. Louis. And yes.
Do you know the name of the facility?
It's Grand Prairie or something, or I don't know.
No, we'll get it. Yes, sir. Yes.
Even though she was supposed to be there for 30 days, they released her after 2 days?
He said he doesn't know. Yes, ma'am.
Do you know where she was driving to on the license? Like which facility?
St. John's Hospital.
Any other questions? It underscores that mental health is real, and we need to understand that people who are trying to get help need us to be considerate of their efforts to try to better themselves. And apparently, she was trying, huh? She was trying, y'all. She was trying. And so, we will continue to try for Sonya Massey. We will continue to fight for her to get justice, full justice. And we keep saying that word, full justice, because her son and her daughter and their family deserve full justice. We will keep you updated. We know that on Sunday, there's been a national call for mourning for Sonya Massey in over 25 cities. Tamika Mallory and Until Freedom, a civic engagement organization, has set it up, and they're having rallies in New York, Washington, D.C., St. Louis, Los Angeles, all around the country for Sonya Massey. We know that Reverend Al Sharpton and clergy are in Chicago on Tuesday at 6 p.m. having a rally for justice for Sonya Massey. And we know that congressional members as well as the vice president are constantly praying for the family and also seeking to talk with her family in the days to come. We've talked to about 3 congressional members so far, and I know Vice President Harris is trying to set up a time to talk with the family of Sonya Massey.
Mr. Clark, what's that agency that's putting these rallies together?
It's a couple of them. It's National Action Network, Until Freedom, National Action Network, the NAACP, all the civil rights organizations. Say Her Name, based out of Los Angeles, black women who have been killed by police violence, like Sandra Bland, like Atiana Jefferson, like Pamela Turner, like Breonna Taylor, and you know the list goes on and on.
So that's the family planning on attending the rally after your father was driven out.
Yes, they are. Okay, thank you all.
Yeah. We gotta do better. I think what I'm gonna do is try to put my head together. I'm trying to come up with something, guys. So, maybe, it'll be of some help to some families to, you know, with a pendant like mine, like something that, lets people know that these are people that have it has to be a different, color or something because I I did not take this so seriously because I was always at the house, but anything could happen. Somebody could come in on me, and I'm not close to this thing. It needs to be around my neck because you just never know, and I'm scary anyway. And and I know y'all heard me break down this because it was the sister for me. The sister took me out, you know, cleaning up her sister's blood. Yeah, your sister's shot in her beautiful, beautiful face, and hearing the, 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 the cerebral and the skull. It's just so many things. And coming out the neck, going in through the eye, coming out the neck. I tell you, I thank God that I have the discernment in the mind, guys, to know when to just say, you know what, let me back up, do what they say, sit still. But I'm gonna always call my brother first, then my sister, cause I know my sister gonna get her before my brother, cause my brother live way out. Uh, he stay in Texas, but they stay, 30. He stayed about 35. No, he stayed about an hour or two away from me, maybe three. Uh, yeah, he stayed about 3.5 hours away from me. Cause he stays in Leonard, Texas. So, hopefully he'll move back up this way now that he's getting the big D word, divorce. So, yeah. So, shouts out to the Massey family, uh, the kids. I pray for y'all. I pray for the sister, the dad, the mom, the mom.